Well, I don't know if you believe it or not, but this is the first time today we've had a chance to do a video. What I've done is stolen Chaudry. Thank you, Chaudry. Chaudry's thing, because he's our lift driver, and I've literally... So you ever been to the horse races before?
Yes.
Oh, really? Gamble on them?
No.
No
Just
sickness?
One. Just one.
All right.
Came with a friend.
Yeah, well, that's fun. That's his stuff. So, we are at the Meadowlands. A lot to talk about. I didn't get to bring you guys a video last night simply because there wasn't time. By the time I got to Buffalo last night to fly to New Jersey, if you look to your left, you'll see Chaudry looking down at his phone, trying to see the directions to the airport because I've stolen his phone charger, his phone holder. I've taken it over, as it were. I didn't get a chance to do any of these videos because I didn't have. It was late at night last night when I got there. I wanted to watch Bomb Hugger and Walk on the Moon race. I should have just done the video before those two. And then, I had to get up this morning. Our flight was at 7 to come to New Jersey. I did not have time to do a video for you guys. So, this is how it played out. I near hit that guy. So what went on yesterday, what went on today? I think, you know what? I think we're just going to do it backwards. We're going to talk about today first. Super impressed with Carter Michael Dio. Again, on pins and needles, but he's starting to look more professional today. Now, you guys might have said, it's a fast mile, the horse race, good. He seemed to weaken a little bit to me now. We've raced him easy and off the pace. And I have been super strict about when we go fast miles with our babies in the summer to treat them for bleeding with a medication called Amicar, because I know what happened over the last few years throughout the heat of the summer, days like today where it's 10 trillion degrees out. It seems like the horses, if they're really stressed, and especially the hyper ones like Carter Michael Dio, sometimes will bleed a little bit. Even the 2-year-olds. I know nobody wants to talk about that because they don't know, they don't think it's a thing. It is a thing. And it was a thing today. I was worried when I saw him come out of the last turn and kind of weaken. That's one thing I've never seen Carter Michael do, is weaken. Always frustrate you, but never weaken. And when he looked like he had enough around the last turn, I sent Ronnie a message. As you can imagine, Ron Burke raced. How many you raced today? 18? Yeah. Like 18 or so horses today. And I sent him a message. I said, hey, great job. The horse looked professional. He's starting to really come around. What do you think? I said, in the back of my mind, I'm worried he bled a little bit. He goes, yeah, we're going to get him scoped right away. So Ronnie got him scoped. Now Ron raced 18 horses. So I didn't want to follow up with, hey, how'd he scope Ronnie? Hey, how'd he scope Ronnie? So I said nothing. And as we were leaving, I just thought I'd send him a message tonight. And as we were leaving the races, in came Ronnie Burke through the front doors, just as we were exiting to meet up with Chaudry. I'm surprised you got here on time too. That's a hell of a job. It's a good job.
Thank you.
So I asked Ronnie point blank, and he said he bled a little bit. He said, what do you think, Anthony? I said, well, the way I see it, we can try our best to dry him up and treat him for bleeding and pretend that he doesn't need it. Give him 2-3 weeks off, dry him up, clean him up, race him. Or we can put him on Lasix and get him ready for the Wellwood. Hopefully a big race shortly after that. That will remain unnamed as of yet. The Wellwood also is there. The Wellwood, the PA Sires next week. He'd have to win out in the PA Sires, so that puts him in a tricky spot anyway for the Mohawk Millions. As I said, the Wellwood, the Breeders' Crown, and another race in between. So there's enough racing, and he can race on Lasix in all those races. Now, even if we had him on Lasix, I don't know, could he have raced on Lasix today? No. I don't think he could have in the Meadowlands and in Kentucky. Now, if we want to fast forward a year and think that Carter and Mike, we can talk about this another time, about Lasix and taking them off Lasix. Can you race them off Lasix? That's a discussion for many of you and I around a table with a couple of beers sometime. But for now, we're going to talk about today. Carter Michael Dio bled a little bit. We're probably going to put him on Lasix. We're probably going to race him in Pennsylvania. point him towards the Wellwood. And I think you're going to see that little bit where you say to yourself, jeepers, he raced good today, but he actually looked a little flat. He won't next time. And there's a lot of arguments surrounding Lazex and what it does, and I don't want to have that today. At the end of the day, Carter Michael Dio was 4th place third. We got a good chunk of money. Our horse was 3rd today, Shadri.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Race fantastic. He seemed genuinely pumped. Shadri's a great guy. We're going to put him on Lazex. We're going to race him in Pennsylvania next week in the Sire Stakes, I would imagine. Now, the good news is Steve asked a great question. He goes, why are you just going to take him home and race him? Listen, the horse looks great today. Ron Burke did a great job. And Dexter Dunn is semi-committed to the horse now. I don't have Dexter's number, admittedly, but I can find it pretty quick and ask him if he wants to stick with him. I think there's a horse that can be could definitely have been, well, you think about it. He bled 2 out of 5 today. What's that horse look like? 0 out of 5 today. Now, I'm not saying he wins a race. When he pops out of that 2-hole at the head of the lane and he kind of lingers and then drifts back, that wouldn't have happened. Now, I'm not saying he would have won, but he definitely would have put in a fantastic mile today. So I think you're going to see Carter Michael Dio enter the Lazex program for his next start in Pennsylvania. We'll leave it at that. Slim Jimmy didn't get run into, got jammed up bad in the last turn today. Get out late. I thought his gait looked good. We made a slight change to his shoeing today. Put, I believe what they're called is victory plates. So you have a normal shoe. Again, we're trying to stay away from those flip-flops at Scioto Downs. We went for a shoe, but underneath that shoe is an aluminum plate, and it's literally mimics the foot. I think they call them victory plates. I think they do. Anyway, we tried it on a couple of horses. Today was the first day for Slim Jimmy. If you go back and look at his previous races, I think his gait was better. Now, is this one of those situations where I know that we changed his shoes, and in my mind, I believe his gait looked better? Or does the gait actually look better? I believe it did. You guys have a look. I think Slim Jimmy's gait looked better today. It cleaned up really nice. He trotted hard through the wire. Very impressed with what I saw from Slim Jimmy today. Now, that's today. We're going to rewind real quick. Talk about another very impressive day for us, and probably one of the most intriguing and super impressive miles I've seen in a long time come from Kings County. Now, we're going to start with the first of the day, brace for landing and landing strip. I didn't know what to expect from these two colts. I have no idea what's going to happen. I said to Mike Wilder, because he had drove him when he made a break at the Meadows, I said, Mike, this is a different horse. My God, I'm happy I got your phone holder. This would have been all over the place otherwise. This is a great phone holder, too. I said, Mike, this is not the same horse you drove when he made a break. Don't drive him like that. Don't be scared of him. Don't worry about him running. He will not run tonight. He's going to go a big mile. Now, I didn't know what kind of a mile brace for landing would go. I just wanted to keep him comfy. I didn't want him uncomfortable. You saw him still. We talk about how immature he is mentally as a horse and a little physically also. Go back and watch the race. Coming to the 3/8, you'll see him dive out. That's just him being a scatterbrain. He wasn't paying attention to his work at all, and I had to tap on the tail. Once I tapped him on the tail, game on. The furnace came on, and he was gone. But this is a horse that didn't get sick, didn't really miss time. He shouldn't be doing that stupid stuff, right? Our horses don't do that stuff in August. They just don't. So that's how he has to mature as a racehorse, mentally and physically. I think he's going to be a real force, and he may also be headed to the Wellwood very soon also. Landing strip, make no mistake. Horse looked fantastic yesterday. Second and 56-1, and raced absolutely fantastic. Both those colts were impressive, but unfortunately they were outdone. Kings County stole the show yesterday. What kind of a mile was that? Somebody said, oh my God, he was out from the 3/8. Go watch the race. He never got in. He went to put him in the hole. He never, ever got to the rail with that horse. He just kept coming with him. That was probably one of the most impressive miles I've seen in a while. Now, it wasn't a Hambletonian. It wasn't the Breeders' Crown, but the way that horse raced, love of God. He raced unbelievably good. So impressed with Kings County yesterday. And man, Stacy and Brett have done a tremendous job with that horse. Now, I will let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Looking at the entries at Mohawk and looking at some of our other horses, we may end up having a couple more with Stacy. I talked to her quietly yesterday about it and said, listen, we're having troubles getting some of these horses in where they belong. This is not, and I'll tell you, Sailor should not be in that class. We did not eat 5 weeks to race that horse against those horses. And unfortunately, I'm going to move him. I think that Sailor's going to end up in Scioto in the very near future. We have a number of horses that are coming back. The JK horse will likely end up at Mohawk at some point. Steve brought it to my attention that JK Mickey Mantle fits, it was a stallion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fits the stallion on August 27th. So he may have a delayed arrival in Ontario, but the plan was to bring him to Ontario. We'll have a number of horses, guys. Listen, by the way, you guys sold out that those Kentucky buckets so far. I was shocked how quickly you did, and obviously that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like the stable as an entity has done a good job, and I think you spoke volumes in doing that, and I appreciate that. But it also goes to say that we'll have lots of horses for Dominic and for Harry, for Marion, for everybody for the fall. But for right now, I have to do what's best for the stable, and I think you're going to see Sailor make a departure and head towards Scioto Downs next week. He may not be the only one. Cutie Cumber, I thought raced well when I warmed her up. She felt a little rickety to me. She was a little off left front last week. Her feet bother her, and in turn, her knees bother her. And I was so impressed. I got to the Meadowlands. I'm walking around the grandstand today aimlessly, because if you haven't been to the Meadowlands ever or in a long time, it's pretty daunting, right? It's a big place. I'm just walking through, and all I hear is, Cutie wasn't bad yesterday. I hear voices. I turned around, there's Jeff Gorell. So many of you don't know, Jeff Gorell, the owner of the Meadowlands, owns a position in Cutie Cumber. Not only, it's Hambo weekend, everything going on, and he still watched the filly race. I couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, Jeff, she was really good. I think she's got a long way to go. Still working on her, she's still got some kinks, but yesterday was impressive. He goes, yeah, you didn't even drive her that bad. He always has to just take it in just a little bit. And I said, yes, I have my moments. And I thought she raced well. Him and I and Jason Settlemore talked for a minute, just about horses in general, and Cutie also. And I was impressed as he was impressed, and I'm sure if you're one of my partners on Cutie Cumber, you were impressed also. You can see there's still a ways to go yet. Yesterday was a good judge. She did a great job on the track. Very, very impressed with the way she raced. Red Overbach, talk about impressed. Didn't really know. You guys know that there's that massive gap. Chaudry, there's a big gap. You got the horses that are so-so, you got the horses that are really good, and then you got this giant bowl of horses that are just kind of so-so, and you never know which ones are going to jump up. And we had a horse yesterday that jumped up. Red Overbach jumped up and raced fantastic yesterday. Jody knows the horse. He drove him good. Dominic has him good. This is a time of year where I don't get to talk to Dominic on a daily basis. I don't get to talk to Harry on a daily basis. So when I get a chance to talk to them, I try to how the horse is going, any concerns, anybody we should be worried about. So they're, Dominic and Harry are doing a great job. So's Mario. The horses are all racing good. Everybody's pulling their weight at the stable, and sometimes I feel like maybe I don't let them know. The way that Red Overbach raced last night was incredible. The horse raced good, and he shows that he has a path forward. He's at the top of that middle of the fishbowl, Chaudry. Right in the middle at the top of the middle of the heart of the order. Maybe batting third. I don't know how they do it. Cricket, you watch baseball? Or?
Yes, sometimes. Not all.
Don't you tell me you're a New York Yankees fan, are you?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Oh, he is. He's a Yankees fan.
No, I'm not Yankees.
No?
I'm Mets.
That's a boy.
Yes.
He's a Mets fan. Pete Alonso. Gotta love him. So Red Overbach was not quite Pete Alonso. I don't know who hits like fifth in the order, but that would be this horse we're talking about. Purple Aura, tough trip yesterday. Didn't look like she got away well. Jason said she touched her knee in the first turn, and then it looks like Josh kind of got undercut by somebody from behind. Not a good trip, not a good day for Purple Aura. I think we're going to have to race Purple Aura to fair, but she loves the fairs, so I'm going to find a nice little fair for her next week, see if we can get her moving forward also. I'll tell you a horse that raced sneaky good yesterday was Fashion Presidente. There's a horse that I looked at the program. I said, oh my God, we're going to get slaughtered. I'm just going to take him back to last, sit last. A couple of breakers around the last turn. He's right up on top of Hunter Myers. I look around and said, I'm going to be an easy fourth. I moved him over, never pulled the earplugs, tapped him on the tail, charging to the wire. 57-1 last half, 58 last quarter, and 29-1, I think. That was a great, great trip. I channeled my inner James. That I didn't jump into the water and crack my back. I took it easy on the horse and raced him very easy. And then great trip for him heading into next week. And then we had the late night special. Bomb Hugger. I know that Mark Beck was said. I wasn't disappointed with the race. I thought when Wally moved her 3 deep, she was gone, and she should have been. There's no real excuses. Although, Mark had said she's coming off the virus. She's a little bit sick. She got roughed up. He sent me a screenshot. Said 57 in the mud. Good mile. It wasn't a bad mile. I think I know how good that filly can be. So I know what she can be like sometimes also. So. Yeah, it wasn't a bad mile. And then Walk on the Moon, I hate making excuses for this horse, but Walk on the Moon popped the quarter crack, left hind last week, and ended up with one right hind this week. I don't ever recall this horse having an issue with quarter cracks in his hind feet, but that's one on each of them in the last 2 weeks. So maybe there's just something. I said to Mark, well, maybe take a look at his shoeing and see if maybe he's landing on the ground in the wrong way. What you'll find is sometimes the horses will end up being a little high on one side or a little high on the other, and that can lead to that. He didn't believe it was. It was just it's hard to call it an anomaly when one blows out of the left hind and then one out of the right hind, but nevertheless it happened. Now, I believe he should have come forward coming out of the gate with him. The quarter cracks are there. You can't race a horse according to a quarter crack, right? You can't say, oh, he's a quarter crack, so I'm going to go easy. You have to race or not race. And it really looked like he had waved the white flag before we even, and not the horse. It looked like the driver was very aware that the horse had quarter cracks. Coming out of the gate at 6-5, he should have been pushing forward, I thought, but not knowing the horse. And in fairness to Mr. DeVoe, he's not the greatest on a half, right? We sent that horse to race at Plain Ridge, and I was clear to Mark. I said, he doesn't get around a half good. He said, he'll be in a Plain Ridge, just let me fix his feet up. So it just seems like we can't just find a consistent place to race Walk on the Moon. It's really frustrating to me, and I know it's frustrating for my partners, but that is that. We're doing the best we can to find a spot for Walk on the Moon. So that's what took place in the last 2 days. I'm going to settle in here in a minute and watch Chocolate for Lunch race. Who else is racing, Amy? Chocolate for Lunch. And then Yes is racing tonight also. So good luck to everybody racing tonight in Ontario. We're driving towards the airport. You know what? I have an announcement. I flew with United. You guys saw how I hated United last week for what they did. They left all those people stranded. They didn't fool me, right? They canceled the flight 2-3 times. I said, no, that's enough. I went to Delta. Delta got me home. And they actually screwed everybody around for a full day after that. And I said, I'm never flying with Delta again. But that's such a stupid comment to make. You got to get from point A to point B. And if the cheapest, easiest way is United, then you know what? Fine. I'll bite my tongue and I'll fly United. So we did. We flew here with United. Everything looked okay. Now, I got to the airport in Buffalo last night, and there was literally a couple crying. I wanted to give them my room. I felt so bad. Not bad enough, literally, to give them my room, but I felt like I wanted to give them my room. I got to the kiosk at the hotel, and there's literally a couple crying because they couldn't find a hotel room for the night. They were very upset. I had booked mine earlier in the evening because there was a bunch of flights canceled in Buffalo for whatever reason. I have no idea. The weather wasn't that bad. So we fly here, and as we get here, Steve says, watch them cancel this flight. Sure enough, how long did it take? 2 hours? Max. Oh, we've rebooked you tomorrow. This United is the scumbag of airlines. Like, I mean, do you ever fly? You ever fly with United? Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Don't ever fly with them again. The worst airline on planet Earth. That's 2 weeks in a row now. They were going to leave us stranded for a day. A day.
JetBlue is the best.
I don't mind that. Yeah, he likes JetBlue. Like Delta bailed us out twice. We were supposed to fly out of Newark, but when we found out we were canceled, we got a flight out of JFK with Delta. But he likes JetBlue also.
I like that.
Yeah. So there you go. Shadri likes JetBlue. I like Delta.
The worker mostly at the owner.
What's that?
JetBlue, the worker mostly
Yeah.
at the owner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And they're Queens base in the New York.
Oh, really?
Queens.
Oh, yeah, that's right too. Queens, yes. So
And I have 2 houses in Buffalo.
you do? What the hell are you driving Lyft for? You have 2 houses in Buffalo.
And I have 1 house here, Staten Island, and I live in
Look at this
Brooklyn.
guy. Oh my God, you're a go-getter, eh? 3 houses and you drive Lyft. That's fantastic. Anyway, Shadri likes JetBlue. I despise United, like literally despise United. But again, if I have to get there next week, they'll probably suck me in again. But they're not going to get us. They didn't get me last time. I ended up getting on a flight with Delta, flying back to Ontario, or back to Buffalo, and driving to Ontario. And then again today, they were just going to nonchalantly cancel our flight for an entire. We can leave tomorrow at 10:30 if you'd like. No, how about I leave tonight? So that's what we did. We left, went to JFK. We're flying back to Buffalo tonight and driving back to Ontario. You know what? Aside from everything, Carter Michael Dio was so impressive today. I knew it. When I saw him let go halfway around the last turn, I saw Dexter tap him on the tail. I looked at the fractions. We're at the Meadowlands. I know how strong he was in Philadelphia. But remember, I took my time with him in Philadelphia and we only went 57. Today it was, how hot would it be today outside? We didn't even get it. I went outside to get that ice cream. It almost melted by the time I get back into the grandstand. It had to be Celsius, had to be 36 degrees today. Well, I would say, wouldn't it? Had to be 36 degrees today in the Meadowlands. So to come here, warm up, race the way he did, and then leave. But I was so impressed with the way he left. Dexter was able to drive him like a horse today. So he is learning. And as far as that ailment that he has, as far as bleeding a little bit, we can fix that. We can help him out. So you're going to see an L beside Carter Michael Dio's name. There already is one beside Enzo Aguayo. But you know what? That's an argument and a discussion. A discussion for another day. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. We've had a huge run the last 48 hours, and it looks like it's going to continue right into the latter part of the summer. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Hope you guys are having a great night. As I said, good luck to the Chocolate for Lunch group, which a lot of it is me. Good luck to the Yes group also. Shadri, thanks for the drive. Great job. And Steve and Amy, we'll talk to you all very, very soon.